So as we're exchanging gifts, he gets down on his knee. He says, "Will you marry me?" His mom's just smiling, so excited. His parents are right there. I say,
What's up, guys, and welcome to the next episode of the Millennial Dating Chronicles, where we share real life stories to help young adults navigate this big confusing arena called dating. These stories will inspire and educate you on how best you can navigate your own personal dating journey. And I am your relationship consultant on your journey, Heath Wiggins, and I provide tips and advice to faith-oriented millennials who are actively pursuing their purpose and their relationship goals. So if you're into this kind of conversation that we're having, please consider subscribing anywhere throughout this video. And today, we're talking about marriage proposals on Christmas Day and how you should carry it if you don't want to accept it. Let's go. Everybody's a sucker for a big, sappy, surprising marriage proposal, especially on a big day like a Christmas. I personally know of one dude who is going to propose to his girlfriend on Christmas Day, but I can't talk about it too much because they be watching these videos and I'm not trying to tip them off. But anyway, these proposals are great. But ladies, what do you do if you get a proposal from your boyfriend and y'all have been dating for a while? And you know you're not ready to get married yet, but it's on Christmas Day in front of yours and his whole family.
my name is Alethea Felton, but I always go by LeeLee. That's been my nickname since I was 2 years old. I'm currently 37 years old. I'll be 38 this year, and I live in Washington, D.C.
This is where we meet LeeLee. She's a sweet, beautiful young woman. She was 19 years old. She was dating a boy she met on blackplanet.com. Don't judge because you know y'all be on these current dating sites, and back then that was a thing. He was in college. She was in college. They lived in the same town. She was in love. He was in love. He was her first. You know how the story goes. Or do you know how the story goes?
I never saw the engagement coming, Heath. I'll be totally honest with you. I didn't see it coming. And something that I will confess to the world, when I was proposed to, it was on a Christmas day. My parents and my sister were there. He came to their house. His parents and one of his siblings was also there. So as we're exchanging gifts, he gets down on his knee. He says, "Will you marry me?" His mom's just smiling, so excited. His parents are right there. I say, "Yes." I immediately go in the back room, called my friend, and I said, "So-and-so proposed to me. How do I get out of this?"
You didn't want to marry him?
I didn't.
I know you're saying, where was the epic fail? Where was the calamity? Everything went well. She said yes, even though she didn't want to. She didn't say no and then run off to the room, slam the door, crying, tears in her eyes, and he's standing there looking all stupid. That didn't happen. But just because the calamity didn't strike like a lightning bolt and blow up that one small spot in the area of your circumference doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Sometimes calamity comes in like a tsunami where it builds and swells and grows, and then the whole weight of it comes crashing down on your whole situation.
In the midst of that, I'll backtrack a little bit and I'll talk a little bit about this. And this is the first time that my parents will even find this out. In the midst of that time, I had a miscarriage. He didn't know about my pregnancy until after we had broken it off. My sister is the only one that I shared that with. I tried breaking it off a couple of times, but I allowed myself to get lured back in. And the way that it was broken off was one night he had called me on the phone and he says, "I don't want to do this." And I say, "You don't want to do what?" He says, "I just don't want to do this. I said, what don't you want to do? He said, I don't want to get married. I don't think we should get married. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, hold up. There were times when I tried breaking away from you and you found ways. So I said, why don't you want to get married? And he says, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. I don't want to get married. He said, I'll come home next weekend and I'll talk to you about it.
So what did he say when y'all met?
We never did. And so when he left, that's when a lot of my worth left. It scarred me so deeply. After the breakup, I had a failed suicide attempt.
At that point, when you were not in hindsight, but at that point, what were you thinking?
How can I face the world knowing that he did not want me? I put all of my identity into helping him be who he wanted to be in our relationship, and I was going to be this good wife and good mother. And I knew, okay, I didn't have him anymore. What am I going to do with my life? Everybody knew about us. Everybody thought it was going to be this. We had a prophecy in front of a church. How could he do this to me? I'll show him. He did this to me. They don't know half of the stuff that we went through. They don't know the stuff that I'll never speak about. But they see him and they see us and they think, it's also perfect. I wonder what they're thinking about me, because he's the one broke it off. So now people are going to think I did something. All of those thoughts. That was one of the main mind crushers, esteem breakers. They don't know that I tried to leave 2 or 3 times before. Oh my God, what is he going to say about me? I was so worried about the opinions of others. So forget God. God, really? How could you allow this to happen? I've been true to you. Really? We've built so much together. He's so charismatic and so loving and so this and the other. He's going to still be X, Y, and Z. What am I going to become? Broadway fell through. Acting fell through. What's going to happen? All of those thoughts started killing me, and I allowed them to.
What did you see? What did you hear? What did you observe? Do you think LeeLee did the right thing? Do you think she should have handled herself differently or handled the whole situation differently? Let me know in the comments below, because I want to know what you think. Let's start a conversation. So what should you do if you get a proposal from your boyfriend on Christmas Day and you don't want to accept it? I have 2 responses, and they are conditional based upon how you feel about your boyfriend. And some in the faith-oriented community might feel a particular kind of way about my first recommendation. First, if you love him and you eventually want to one day get married to him, but right now you know that you're not ready, he know that he not ready, you know y'all's whole situation is not ready, or in LeeLee's case, she was too young, she didn't have her parents' permission, and it just wasn't the right timing of it, then what you do is say yes. Take that ring, slip it on your finger, weep, cry, tears, let them flow, smile, hug, and kiss, joy and jubilation abounding. Yes, do all of that. Why? Because you don't want to embarrass the person that you love. But some people might say, that's not authentic. You're not being your authentic self. There's a little story about a situation that this dude was in. He was married. he was engaged to his fiance, and she comes back talking to him like,
I was talking to this dude named Gabriel. So he said that he was sent by God, like as an angel and stuff. And he said that I'm pregnant now by some dude named the Holy Spirit. And it's going to be a boy. You're going to be the daddy. And we're going to call him Jesus.
and at that point, what did Joseph, or the man who was the fiance, what did he have the moral right to do?
Oh, you crazy. You bugging. I'm out.
In some circumstances, it was illegal to stone a woman who had committed adultery or had sex before she got married. So he could have stoned her. He could have like put her on blast, blew up her spot, try to find this dude named Holy Spirit. He was like,
Oh, that Holy Spirit? That dude that live off Martin Luther King Boulevard? Where he at? I think I know that man.
no, he didn't do any of that. Joseph thought to himself, I do not want to expose her to public disgrace, but I will divorce her quietly. You could have put her on blast, but because you are more concerned about the woman that you love, not exposing her to public disgrace, you went ahead and just sat with that. And mind you, this was before God said, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. And after that, Joseph was like, okay, I'm good. So what am I saying? I'm not saying that this is biblical theology. I am saying that there is biblical precedent for you to be more concerned about someone's feelings in the moment and not subject them to public humiliation. Now, in private, on the next day, you tell them either one, you know what, I really didn't want to say yes, but I didn't want to embarrass you because our situation is not such that we're ready to get married. If you don't want to say that, if that comes off too harsh, then you can say, oh yes, I want to get married to you, but I want a long engagement because I want to make sure we get these situations taken care of first. Or you can say, like what I would recommend LeeLee have said, oh, okay, yes, I do want to get married, but after I finish college or after I finish these things that I want to accomplish, then we can get married. That will spare him the humiliation and it will ease the pain that he will feel of not getting married right away. So the second piece of advice I have is if you know you don't want to get married to this dude and you know there's no way in the world this thing completely came out of the blue and you're sitting there on Christmas Day and you don't want to get married to him, then it's just ugly, but you just be like, I'm not ready, and just run away fast to the bathroom, to the bedroom, doesn't matter. Close the door behind you. It's ugly, it's messy, and there's no good way, there's no smooth way to do that. It's just got to be ugly and messy. And stay in there until it's like he leaves or the family is like, okay, I think we should go. Yeah, do all that because it's not going to be pretty. Don't just be like,
No, I'm not going to marry you.
and then he stand up and then,
Any more gifts? Anybody else got any more gifts?
no, that's just rude. That's just disrespectful. And it's so awkward. The moment is dead. And just know that if you say no, y'all done. Y'all are done. He's not probably going to not want to be with you no more, but you don't want that anyway. So that's my advice. That's what I got to say. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me or if you think differently about any other kind of situation. And if you found this information helpful or interesting, please consider subscribing to this channel. Please consider liking this video. That's the only way that I'll get feedback from you, knowing that this is something that you found beneficial and helpful to navigating your own personal dating journey. And show your support for the production of these kinds of videos, for this kind of content targeted to this kind of faith-oriented audience by subscribing to this channel. It supports all the work that I do to help you navigate your own dating journey. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, but it means a lot to me and it helps me to help more people. So I thank you and appreciate your support, and I will see you in the next Millennial Dating Chronicles.